Partial rebuild of a Stuart 10V steam engine, part 7. Checking the flywheel with a dial indicator to confirm that it is not machined correctly, followed by remachining it to make it concentric. Refitting the cylinder and covers, then the drain taps, and improving the fit of the eccentric strap. The job is almost complete. I always thought that this device that I'm using was called a dial test indicator, but a viewer wrote me a short essay explaining that it was a dial indicator, which is different to a dial test indicator. I really didn't know that. Not that it makes any difference, but I thought I would mention it. It's not exactly changed my life forever, but I do like to get things right where possible. When I rotate the chuck, this dial indicator, dial test indicator, or whatever it's called, is telling me that the flywheel is not concentric. To check that the part that I'm holding is also concentric, I put a steel bar through the middle and spun that for a while. Everything was fine, so I removed the steel bar and replaced it with a live centre to hold the flywheel firmly against the chuck jaws. What I'm doing at the moment is changing the speed of the lathe, because turning cast iron at a high speed can cause problems in the home workshop. Generally, I machine cast iron quite slowly, like this. With a slow traverse speed and a sharp lathe tool, I got a good finish. And that is the first job in this episode to be completed. The flywheel is now concentric, and equilibrium has been restored to the universe. This engine is really badly made, with the exception of the crankshaft, which is very well made, and the bearings are good. Now it's time to refit the cylinder to the standard, sandwiching the cylinder cover in between the two. These are longer bolts than the ones that hold the top cylinder cover in place. This job was completed without any problems. None of the threads are stripped, and I carefully check the tightness of each of these bolts. It's very important that they hold the parts together securely. Once everything was fitted together and nice and tight, I thought it would be a good idea to spin the engine and just have a listen to it. And to do this, I used a small Bosch electric drill that I have. The crosshead is a rattle fit in the crosshead guide, and I think that's what's making the rattling noise. But all things being equal, the engine is not too bad to say it was so diabolical to start with. Each of the cylinder covers only fit in one position, and I had to try the top cylinder cover a few times before I got the right one. Here's an example of what it looks like when it's wrong. By repeatedly rotating the cylinder cover, finally I got it in the right place that matched the holes in the cylinder. I'm glad to see that by handling it, the paint has dulled a little bit on the cylinder, and it's quite a good match with the paint on the rest of the engine. Here's a number 10 sat on the bench in front of a 5A, and a Stuart 5A is just a big number 10 really. The only difference is I built this 5A, and the tolerances are slightly better than the ones on this 10V. And don't forget, as I mention frequently, I'm not a machinist, I'm a musician, and I do things with as much care as possible. And here's an example of that. When I fitted these cylinder drains, I didn't need to use any shim washers because the threads on them were longer than the holes. I just trimmed the length of the thread to fit in the holes and bottom out. Time to look at the eccentric strap. This was my solution. I drilled out the hole to take a larger bolt, which partially goes into the groove in the eccentric sheave, and then a lock nut stops it from tightening up or loosening. The eccentric strap is not very well made at all, so I'm going to sort of have to live with this, I think. It will work okay. You'll see in the next episode. I obviously lubricated the cylinder and the bearings, and here I'm adding some oil to the eccentric sheave via the oil hole in the strap. Now it's time to clean up the slide valve that was in a bit of a state really. I'm using a whetstone for this and some 3-in-1 oil. And after rubbing this slide valve back and forth on the whetstone for about 5 minutes, it became very smooth and very shiny. And more importantly, very flat. Infinitely better than it was to start with. As I also used the whetstone on the port face in a previous episode, These parts should slide very smoothly against each other. This eccentric sheave is not very well made, in fact it's a bit of a mess, but it has two 6BA grub screws, so it's not going to move anywhere. I'd like to mention that I obviously packed the piston rod gland before I reassembled it. Now it's time to do the same with the gland on the steam chest. I'm just checking that there's no old packing in there. The next job is to remove the cylinder cover, getting ready to fit the slide valve. Two of the four studs unscrewed from the cylinder, but this is not a problem. You can see the marks around a couple of the nuts, and these are where holes were drilled in the wrong place and then plugged. Engineering is not an easy thing to do, and it is not difficult to get it wrong. Practice makes perfect. The more you do, the better you get at it, generally speaking. With the steam chest cover out of the way, I carefully removed the gasket, being very careful not to tear it. I'd like to say that this valve spindle is wrong. It is not meant to be tapered at the end, but obviously the hole that guides it at the top was drilled in the wrong place. This is not really the way to do the job, but it's what I have to work with. This engine is never going to be a silk purse, but it will work once I've finished with it. In this clip, I'm fitting the block that drives the slide valve onto the valve spindle. This job was quite fiddly because the parts are very small, but my fingers aren't. After a few attempts, though, I got it right and screwed the block into position. And that is it for the penultimate episode of the series. In the final episode, I make the engine run. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.